I wonder how many other content creators just start up their camera, start the video, and have no idea what they want to speak about. I wonder how many there are, because that's exactly what I'm doing now. I have absolutely no clue what I want to talk about. I have no plan, no structure. It would have probably been a smarter idea to come up with something rather than start the video and have no clue what to even discuss. But I think if I give it a minute, if I give it maybe 2 minutes, then I should have a better idea of what I want to talk about. But until then, I think I'll just start off by saying my wrist is still, well, in recovery. I've been resting it for a few days now. I'm not noticing that much of an improvement. I mean, I do have my mobility back now. As you can see, I can move it. I have this really bad tension along the outer part running down the thumb. I really hate that feeling because it stops me from being able to do a handstand. I still cannot put any pressure like this. It's, it's not fun, but I do hope that it will get better, and I can feel that it's getting better. So I have no doubts. I just need to stay consistent with resting. And if you're a calisthenics athlete and you're really passionate about this sport, then you understand that it's not really easy to rest. You want to find a way to train, regardless of your injuries, right? There were many times in the past when I had a really bad shoulder impingement. The nerve was trapped, and I had absolutely no clue what to do about it. I was resting, and I was like, "Oh wow, it's been a week of full rest, and it hasn't like gone away. Screw it, let me just keep training." So I just kept training, and to my surprise, it got worse. You know. But anyway, that was a few years ago. I don't really have shoulder pains anymore. Thank God. And God forbid I have any more shoulder pain because when I did have shoulder pain, it was terrible. I hated every moment of it. These days, I just have non calisthenics related injuries besides my backstabbing. The backstabbing was probably one of the worst things I've ever had to deal with. That's the thing, by the way, if you don't already know, that knocked me out of the sport for a year plus. That was in 2024. It happened during FIBO in Germany. I was overtraining and I didn't drink any water that day. And I trained for about 7 or 8 hours. Crazy. I mean, who the heck trains for that long anyway? And no drink, no food. Like I'm a psycho. I don't know what I was thinking. And obviously, that resulted in a terrible injury. And it was one of those progressive ones. So it wasn't that bad to start off with, but it became worse as time went. And around 1 or 2 months after that injury, I thought I rested it enough and I thought I was recovered enough. But I had a competition around that time. I think it was June or July. I had a competition, the Elysium 2024. Yeah. And man, what can I say? I took 2 or 3 painkillers and I said, screw it, we're just gonna go and push through. I could have or did get into top four. Actually, no, I could have gone to top four if I didn't quit because I would have won uh, my round against, I don't know who it was, but I would have won that round. I still remember, and I would have gone into top four at the very like, least, I would say. But I had to disqualify myself because the pain was too much. I couldn't handle the pain. It was one of the worst pains I've ever felt. I couldn't breathe. Okay, I had some memes pop up in my head. Anyway, I had struggle inhaling. Okay, okay, lock in, bro, lock in. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. So I had trouble with inhaling and exhaling because my backstabbing was that bad, right? Every single time I inhaled, in my back, the trapezius area, I think. I'm not really sure. And yeah, I was laying on the ground. I was completely cooked. It was over. I knew at that point that I had absolutely no chance. That's it. And from that point onwards, even doing a death hang was really painful. It was pretty much GG, right? And it's very humbling. It's very humbling to just not be able to train, right? It's like you realize that you're not special. That this can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter that I'm from Nevermain or like this or that. It doesn't matter. I could have 2 million followers and I could still get a life changing injury, or I could get a really bad broken like body part, whatever. Anything can happen. You can get into a car crash, God forbid, but anything can happen to you, and it doesn't matter who you are. Remember that Anthony Joshua situation where he got into a car crash and his two close friends died and he survived? It doesn't matter who you are. Anything can happen. But I guess what I was trying to say with this is that I was no different. So I had to be off from the entire sport for a long while. Couldn't do a dead hang, couldn't do a pull up, couldn't do anything. For some reason, even push ups hurt. I think push was the only thing I could have done fairly easily without any pain. But at that point, I just had no motivation. I was like, well, I can't do one of my favorite movements anymore. I can't do anything that is pull related. Why would I continue this sport? I was so demotivated. And that was also roughly the time when I was going to Japan with my friends. I think that was July. Yeah, we went from London to China and then from China to Japan. Stayed for 2 weeks. It was a really good time. It was fun. And after we finished with that trip, where by the way I didn't train at all, except in a little park in Japan, which is pretty cool. I messed around with that. But besides that, no actual training. Went back to the UK and life went back to normal. Around August time, not August actually, sorry, September. Yeah, it was September. After summer, 2024 still. So it was a few months after the injury. I kind of felt like it went away, right? I was like, oh, damn, it went away. Crazy. No, no, no. I ended up getting a lat injury, roughly here. Oh, I don't know if it was on my left or on my right side, but either way, I really screwed up my lat from muscle ups. Okay, so once again, it doesn't matter who you are. Front lever main got injured by doing muscle ups. Okay, like I just want you to understand that. Like place that thought within your head. Muscle ups. Like what? So anyway, that's besides the point. I was off again. And oh yeah, my backstabbing was there as well. So I completely quit. I just gave up. I was just going back to my gaming habits, and that was one of the worst decisions I could have made. Oh man, oh man. If you know me well enough, you know that I used to be a gamer. Hardcore. That's the only thing I used to do. Before I had my PC, I was playing on mobile quite a lot. I was playing Mobile Legends, and I was one of, well, I was one of the best at the time for one character in specific. If you want to know, then just comment below. I'll tell you uh, more about it. But anyway, I was really locked in on the wrong thing. I was playing unholy amounts of hours, 12, 13 hours minimum. I was playing so much. And I went back into those bad habits. I played Valorant, I played a lot of trash, which was just a waste of time. And what can I say? What can I say? Life was just falling apart. Not long after, we head into 2025. I think 2025 was the time when I had my. Yeah, yeah, that's right. 2025 was the point in time, I think February or January, when I ruined my tendon. I gave myself tendonitis. I'm not sure how I am with my tendonitis right now, but I know for a fact that my tendonitis was terrible. I made it so bad because I decided to do a 71 or 72-second planche lean set at the gym in England. And yeah, I pretty much got what I deserved. So clap, clap for me, you know? But again, I didn't let that stop me. I felt like slowly but surely, I could start getting back into front lever. So my journey officially started like properly in May of 2025. April, May. I would say properly May. From May until now, I have not only regained my front lever power, I have doubled or maybe even tripled my strength. Right? Within these few months, half a year, I have made disgusting progress. Right? Ego aside, I'm speaking facts here. If you have some type of genetics, right, and you mix it with an inability to just stop and you just want something, you will get it. If you have that dedication and you also have some talent, you'll go a long way. But it's obviously not that common. What I guess that didn't make any sense. What I guess, no. Yeah, okay, I got it now. I guess what I wanted to say by saying this is that it's possible. I made a 180 180 degrees comeback. I flipped the entire script. I didn't expect to get back to this level, right? So I'm not gonna say that it was some genius plan for me to get back into this strength level, whatever. No, 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 no. I had no clue I'm actually gonna get this strong. Like, sure, I knew I'm gonna get like a decent front lever. Sure, I'll get back my front lever pull-ups, my front lever touch. I didn't even think about SAT. I didn't even know about SAT. I knew about it before a few years ago, but I forgot about it, right? It was completely out of my vision. I no idea, right? Planche. Planche was another one where I thought I'm just gonna be stuck at tuck forever. In May, I was at about the yeah, I was around the tuck planche phase. And I've been at the tuck planche phase for a long time. I managed to break out a couple times. Went into some straddle, bad form straddle, like really bad form straddle. But then it always regressed back into tuck. So I never truly had straddle, you know? Something changed. Something definitely changed. Whether it was the environment I was in, the people I was around, the new start, the fact that I moved from London to Hungary, maybe that was the reason for everything good. Or maybe it was just luck. Maybe my body just decided that, you know what, 2025 is going to be your year. That's going to be your year. Well, whatever it was, it paid off. It paid off, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for the people that I met because those people pushed me. I pushed them. We were carrying each other, and we're still carrying each other. So I want to just shout out all the people at Beast of Static Gym. All of them. I won't be able to name everyone because, like, too many people, but you all know who you are. And thanks to all of these people, I've managed to grow as an athlete and as a person, actually. It's just one of those things, you know? Sometimes you need a change. Sometimes that is all you need. It's an interesting topic. But if we try to refocus on the topic, then what I would have to say is not everything that is good will last forever. So you have to really understand how to make the best of these moments. Because as you can see, sure, I had a good 2025 for the most part, right? After I moved in, it was fairly good. I wouldn't say I made much progress in anything besides calisthenics. So I was still broke, still no money, procrastinating in any other area of my life. This is a pretty deep conversation. A lot has happened ever since I moved to Hungary. It's really difficult to recall everything, but I'll definitely say one thing. It's never too late to come to a realization that you might need to do something with yourself. I've had a lot of phases where I'm like, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they don't last a long time. And it always triggers me because why can I not stay driven and motivated in just one thing, right? The only thing I've seen consistency with in my life is calisthenics. Maybe it's not even passion anymore, although I do think it is. But even if it wasn't passion, I think what would be dragging me is just my addiction to the sport. There comes a time when you become so good at something that even if you wanted to quit, you wouldn't be able to, just because it's so ingrained into your life that without it, you would feel incomplete. And I know that a lot of bodybuilders, powerlifters, or just athletes for fun, they'll never understand this. You need a degenerate level of focus, passion, or any of the above for you to understand this, right? If I didn't have this sport in my life, I'd still find a reason to live, right? Of course, I'm not that degenerate where I don't think there's any purpose to life besides my sport, because, yeah, that is a little bit stupid if you don't. But there was a time when if I didn't have that, I wouldn't see any other reason. But what other reason would there be to continue? At a certain point in time, that's that's all that mattered, and that's the thing that got me out of many ruts. That's the thing that got me out of gaming. That's the thing that solved a lot of my issues. So who am I to say that I would be anything without this sport? If I didn't have this sport, I would be the same loser. I'll be the same loser as I was a few years back. There's no way I can go back to that position anymore. I've had to cut ties with people in the past. I've had to lose some friends in order to, well, ascend. You know, sometimes you just have to cut people off because you're just in a different, like, I don't know, not even zone, but like state of mind. It's not a flex. It's not to say, oh, I'm better than you. Oh, you're not as good as me, so I need to leave you behind. No, it's nothing to do with that. Everyone has their own stages in their life. Everyone is at different stages. And the moment you decide, you know what, maybe it's time maybe it's time to do something with myself, right? The moment that time comes, you will lock in, you'll make progress, and you'll start finding people who are on the same wavelength, the people who operate with a similar mindset. And those are the people that you need to make ties with. You need to work together, grow together. And at a certain point, they might be satisfied with where they're at, and you might not be. So there comes a time when they grow, you grow, they grow, you grow together. But then, for some reason, let's say this guy has to stop. You will keep going if you want to keep going, right? Because our goals change, and you keep going, you keep going. That doesn't mean that this person is worse or anything. It's just that this person maybe has different priorities now. But you cannot stay here just because somebody else is here. You have to keep going. And again, it doesn't mean you need to completely cut people off. No way. Absolutely not. I still keep in touch with my old friends. 100%. And some of them are way better off than me. I mean, actually, who am I to talk about this, right? I am not well off. I haven't really said much, and I don't want to say much. I would much rather speak about financial stuff, money related things when I do make it, when I do become more successful in that field. I'd be more open to discussing the past. And by the way, that past is my current present. But I mean, those who know, well, they know. I'm not sure if any of you are listening to, well, it's 22 minutes in. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's listening to this. Assuming you are, though, I really appreciate it. And that just means that maybe you see yourself like in me in a sense. Maybe some of the things that I'm discussing are some of the things that you also have noticed in yourself. And if that's the case, then maybe as I grow, you can grow, we can get better, we can make some changes. Because, man, with all these injuries coming left and right, I'm forced to take a break, take a rest. And while I'm resting, I start realizing that there are many things I can focus on, right? So now we're going to go into some more positive things, right? I start watching more sales related things, self improvement related things. By the way, I've been into self improvement for a long time. Self improvement, I mean, it's just such a big topic. It covers so many things. I first started getting into self improvement maybe, God, I don't even know actually. It could have easily been 4 or 5 years ago, minimum. I was so locked in with self improvement. The idea that if I level myself up, I will see changes in my life. It was mind blowing to me. I started going to the gym. I was lifting some weights, And I did say, oh no, I don't ever lift weights, but obviously I messed around with some weights in the past, but not for long at all. I found calisthenics pretty quickly. But I saw the gains. I saw that I went from being a stick man to fairly bulky. I became a bigger unit. And seeing these improvements, these gains, they made me feel so much better. I started getting abs and I was like, oh my God, look at my abs. I was getting vascular. I saw my veins on my arms. And I've noticed that people started treating me different as well. And it felt great, right? Because I was bullied a lot in school. I was majorly bullied. It's not even funny. Ugh. There's a lot of PTSD there. It's horrible. And I just became stronger. I started training and I noticed that it paid off. I gained more respect. Less people were messing with me. I was still a loner, don't get me wrong, I was still a loner. But I had more respect. This sport definitely has done a lot for me. But anyway, self-improvement. Amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. But what a lot of people get wrong about self-improvement is that there comes a point where improving your appearance isn't gonna cut it out, or isn't gonna cut for too long, or something like that. I don't know how to speak, to be fair. What I'm trying to say is that doing only gym, it's not gonna make you the best version of yourself. It's gonna make you a better version of yourself, but it's not going to make you the best version of yourself. Because in order to become the best version of yourself, you need to be able to focus on different pillars of your life. Sorry about that, that's just a notification. Let me mute real quick. You've got to understand that there are so many different pillars in self-improvement, and improving your body is just one of them. You can improve socially, spiritually, financially, knowledge-wise. You can improve in so many different ways that it's just ridiculous for me to even start trying to explain all of it. It's just too much. But that's the beauty of it, because you're gonna be spending your time doing something anyways, right? So why not just spend your time doing something that actually pays off? I still remember when I played RuneScape. Oh man, those times. And it's funny because I was so dedicated to leveling up that character. I really enjoyed how you had those realistic abilities that you can level up. It's weird. It's completely weird. This is why games are dangerous too, by the way. They really know, the developers and the psychologists behind these games, they definitely understand how the human mind works. They've definitely done their research because they know how to keep us captivated, what triggers our primal instincts. And yeah, no, they do a good job. So you gotta be careful. But all in all, self improvement is beautiful because the moment you start improving your body, it's like a domino effect. You improve your body, that will make you feel better about yourself. That improves your self confidence. Your self worth will increase, not just because you believe that you're better, but you're actually better. Because if you gain a body that you can respect, then that's a body that others can respect. It's it's something that is a reflection of your effort, right? So of course it's gonna level you up, but it's not enough. But that body is something that can trigger improvements in other pillars of your self-improvement. And it's just gonna keep falling on each other, and it's gonna get higher and higher. You're gonna stack, 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 stack. You can't lose. You can't lose. As long as you don't give up and you're consistent and you know the rough direction you want to head at or head towards, you're gonna get it. If you're ruthless enough, there's no way you can fail it. The only moment you actually fail is when you stop. When you stop trying and you just tell yourself, you know what? I've given it a couple tries. I've given it 10 tries. Why would I try again? If it didn't work 10 times, why would it work for the 11th? That mentality is terrible. Let's just be honest here. That's terrible. I learned pretty early on, and that's actually why I like games for one reason, is the fact that I understood at the end of the day that consistency is literally all that matters. You cannot like put someone down if they keep getting up. Regardless, regardless of what you do, if they keep getting up, they haven't failed. The moment that they decide not to get up, or they physically just they're just completely dead. If you maybe like literally just they'll keep getting up. Relentless people, they're the ones who end up succeeding. And the issue is that this relentless instinct or this behavior, it doesn't always apply in every field in your life. So you might be relentless in your sport, but you might not be relentless in a business or at your work. Why is it that you put so much effort into training calisthenics, but then when it comes to the place you work at, you do the bare minimum to get paid? Why is it? Why don't you equally put as much passion and energy and focus into like just everything equally? Like, why don't you do that? Why could it be? I've got the answer. It's just I'm just putting the question up so you can answer it for yourself. But yeah, interesting things. It's very interesting. There's so much to speak about. So much. I haven't even scraped the surface, to be fair. I could speak for so long about this topic. So long. There are so many things to discuss. It's just actually just crazy. And what I found especially shocking is that a lot of people that are this age, heck, let's say like 20 to 24, even 25, nobody thinks about this. And if you do, then congratulations, you're part of a lesser percent. Not saying that I'm special or that you're special, but we're definitely not the ones going partying all the time and just getting blackout drunk. I mean, yeah, here and there, but at the end of the day, you're not comfortable. You live your normal life, but you sense that you could be doing something else and that something is not right. I look around myself sometimes and I'm like, this is this the best I can do? Is this really the best I can do? Living in a gallery space where right now it's clean, but sometimes it's not clean and it's messy. And is this the mess I want to live in? Clothes here, dishes there, your mind is messy, nothing is organized. You're just not paying attention to anything. Is that really the best I can do for myself? And if everyone has the same 24 hours, then what are they doing that makes their 24 hours so much more worthwhile and just so much more productive than mine? Right? And that's actually a good point that I bring this up because I did just stumble across uh, what's his name? Alex Hormoz. Is it his name Alex? That's the issue. I get confused. That's the issue. Alex, yeah, Alex Hormozy. So obviously everyone knows who he is, right? He said this interesting, well, experiment idea where you go to this Google spreadsheet or whatever, and you write down the start of your day and the end of your day. And there should be 15-minute blocks going from the morning to the end. And you should set this constant timer in 15-minute intervals. And after every 15-minute has come to its end, you write down what you did in those last 15 minutes. It's a very difficult thing to do, to find the discipline to be able to do that continuously for, let's say, a week. it will be extremely difficult. But what he said, and what I also now logically see, is that if you do that, there's no way you won't be productive, because every 15 minutes you'll be reminding yourself, okay, did I do that? Like, what did I do? There is no better way to keep track of your time, because you'd be surprised how fast time flies throughout the day. And you thought you were productive, but if you could replay your day from a outer body, like a third person view, and you could see yourself operating throughout your day, you would see how much gaps there are where you're just doing nothing. You're just doing, or you're just useless. There are so many gaps in your day when you're doing nothing while you think you're being productive. And that's also a humbling experience, I'm sure. I want to give this a go. I'm going to give this a go. I need to figure out how I'm going to set this up. 15-minute timer, that's going to be very annoying. Every 15 minutes. And what's the guarantee that you can write down what you did in the last 15 minutes every 15 minutes? What's the guarantee? Because something might come up and you might not be able to do that, right? You might not be able to do 15. Maybe you might need to do 30. Or in the past hour, what did you do? Stuff like that. So it might not even have to be that extreme. But again, it's worth the try. It's not something you'd be able to do all the time, but if you just do it for a few days, heck, even one day is enough for you to figure out, was I productive? How productive can I truly be? So, stuff like that. And I guess the final thing I want to talk about before I end, because we're already looking at a 37-minute video here. This is insane, insanely long. You might just need to listen to this while you're trying to go to sleep or you're on the bus or whatever. But sales is something I've always like had some sort of an interest in, but I never really took any action on it. I got back into the interest, you know, or at least the interest came back to me for sales. And while I might not be a cold caller who does, I don't know, like real estate or insurance or anything like that, or I'm trying to sell like a mobile network or some BS like this, regardless of the fact that I'm not gonna be able to, not even not gonna be able to, but I'm not planning to go into that type of workforce or work type, I can take a lot of inspiration from sales, sales tips, sales information. Because again, if you think about it, when you're doing these courses or coaching or stuff like that, you will go and have a consultation call with your clients, and you need to be able to, well, tell them and help them understand whether the decision to get this coaching is even worth it for them. You have to be the one who helps them understand this, because it's not about convincing anyone truly. It's about helping them decide on their own if this is for them or no. And I think that's beautiful. Obviously, it's not as simple. There's more that goes into it. But you can't go wrong with sales. You really can't. It's a really helpful thing. I've done some physical selling in the past when I was with my father at the timber yard. So I managed to close some pretty big deals, few £1,000 or dollars worth of timber I managed to sell with minor convincing. You know, it helps that it's kind of like a warm lead, so they were there with the intention or with the intent to buy already. That helps. But some people, they came and they didn't even expect to buy anything, or they didn't plan to buy anything, but they still bought because I closed them. So I do have some experience in it. I am not a professional though, far from it, far from it. I have a fairly good speaking ability. So as you can see, I can speak for about 40 minutes easily without any issues. Not much of an issue. But yeah, anyway, I'll say one thing. It's a lot better to have your page filled with helpful content, right? Helpful content. Content which makes you a better person, a smarter person. It's a lot better to have this than having half-naked dancing girls on your page. Because sure, I can have that on there as well. But that's just such a distraction. And I feel like Instagram purposely pushes that. It purposely pushes this BS. And they know that some men are weak. Or most men, they're weak mentally. They see a girl, right? And it's like, oh, like, come on, look in. Look in. So that's that. I don't know. I want to be more productive. I want to focus on things. I want to move out of this hole. I have to. I have to. By summer, I will be out of here. Mark my words, I will be out of here. I will do my absolute best. I'm going to make money. I'm going to make my brand bigger, better, more successful. It's going to be a banger. This year, I'm going to make it. I'm going to prove that if you genuinely don't have anything else you care about besides wanting to change your situation, your current situation, you can absolutely do it. There should be nothing holding you back. Absolutely nothing. I'm going to change this channel into something that documents my journey. I want to do more frequent YouTube videos. I just want to start pumping out content. That's it. Doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Just pump out content. Be productive. And I need to choose my friends very well. But as I said, I'm completely happy with my friends. My friends that I've made in Hungary are the best. The best I could ask for. They're funny, they're helpful, they're strong, they have the same goals that I do. It's great. And thanks to my workplace, while it can be a little bit annoying sometimes to work as a receptionist at like a fancier gym, it has provided me with a lot of opportunities to network with people, meet interesting, like-minded individuals. I've met some high-quality people so far, and I hope that continues. I hope I can meet even more valuable and interesting people. There's a positive in everything, 100%. But yeah, just reminder for anyone at the end of the video, because yeah, I'm nearing the end anyway. Just a reminder, lock in. Look around you. Is this a situation you want to live in? Let's say you're not living in a good situation. Is this the best you can really do for yourself? Can you do better? If you can do better, do better. If you think you're happy, and maybe you are happy, then don't, It's completely up to you. You're the one who needs to make that decision. So, as a finale, I'm gonna state my two main goals for, well, for this year. You know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. For this year, I'm not gonna extend it any longer. For this year, my two main goals: 100,000 followers on Instagram and £10,000 earnings, pure profit, right? Pure profit in 1 month. I want to have my first £10,000 earned in 1 month. That's what I want, and I'm gonna get it. Simple. Anyway, merch dropping soon. You're gonna have this beautiful sat. You see that? Absolutely amazing. And then you're gonna have a very cool piece of text on the back as well, so that when you're walking, people are gonna know, oh, this guy's the real deal. But anyway, thank you for listening. If you listen this much or this far or anything like that, appreciate it. You're a real one. And hell yeah. Let's get successful. Bye bye.